What's going on, everybody? It's Achilles LBT coming at you with a brand new video, and in today's video it will be my second time uploading a replay slash live commentary. And to just kind of get this out of the way, there's a reason why I wanted to get this gameplay on the channel. Namely, it ties into the compositions and the things that my teammates were saying when they saw these compositions being made, in the sense that the other team had a Tyrael and a Johanna, and we basically just had me as Sonya. And at that point, in the draft process, I mean, I've said it before a number of times, but I don't get scared off of my pick at all. According to like what the picks are on the other team, like I'm really confident in what I could do with the heroes that I choose. That I'm never worried about things like stuns and CC, because I have ways around that. There are ways to just outplay people who have those natural advantages over you, and that was something that I was really relying on. And it's worth noting that these guys in particular flat out said that because they had a Tyrael and a Johanna, and you know how the CEC elements that they bring to the game, as well as a Jaina, they felt like one stun would pretty much just completely do away with my entire kit. So purposely, while these guys were saying everything, I purposely didn't say anything. I was just gonna go out there and prove them wrong with my gameplay. And we're just gonna start it up now, and I want to point out really early on, I want to draw attention to the chat. After this Uther makes his comment, watch what the Kael'thas says, and well, you'll basically see why I play the way I do. Because sometimes I say something, sometimes I don't, but when I see stuff like what you're about to see, it drives me crazy, whether I acknowledge it or not. It really agitates me when I see stuff like this. So there you go. They have two tanks. We don't have a tank. Nice. GG. 6 seconds into the game, this guy's already calling game just because I have Sonya and they have two tanks. So I just want to point that out. And I want to point out something real quick off of what he said. This moment right here, right there. That's about as close as you'll come in this video to seeing me die. I just want to point that out so that you have an idea of what you're about to watch. So, at this point, I know now that I have two people to worry about, two crowd control players to worry about up top. So, in all actuality, I'm really not worried about the Jaina player at all, but I am keeping an eye out for the Tyrael player, because the Tyrael player is going to be the one that makes the initiation moves. And generally, whenever I'm outnumbered like this, I like to play off of my turrets. And then you see I move in, Tyrael's not around, so Jaina's not a problem at all. Like, I could just burst her down like in my sleep. And, you know, that right there is just me showing her that I can do that basically whenever I want, as long as she doesn't have Tyrael. But at this point, you see, like, when I spin on people, I don't spin on the hero. I just spin to get them to back up, and I stick to spinning on the minions, because that's what you should be using it for. And again, I see countless Sonya users still trying to use the whirlwind on heroes to no avail. And you see, once she makes the mistake of stepping up just the slightest bit, I hit her with the spear and another slam, just to let her know that I can get her anytime I want, basically. And look at her health. Like, it's really easy. It's really easy to get her low and to get her to a point where she'll back up. And again, we're not even concerned when we spin like this. We're just worried about the minions. And, you know, who knows? Maybe to a certain extent, that's something that the players see too. Like, they see you ignoring them, and it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable and unconfident. Who knows? But I can say that at this point in the game, I am watching the mini-map with, like, hawk-like accuracy right now, because I know that the only way I can get caught up here is if the Tyrael tries to gank me from that little shadow spot right there. Like, I am absolutely not concerned at all about this Jaina player, because once I get some of these minion waves down, I could easily just initiate again with my spear and burst her down to get her to run away. Like, it's not a problem at all. And I'm just soaking XP on the top lane, getting gems. Like, it's not a problem for me at all. It's not a problem for me at all. And again, like, I'm just gonna point out that I'm not gonna say anything in the chat throughout this whole game, because I'm just content to just show these guys what I can do rather than you know, kind of entertain any bull. Well, I actually did come a little bit closer to dying right there, but I wasn't really worried about it at all. And again, Just basically soaking XP, getting some health back. That's really the only reason you should be using Whirlwind is to like kind of push lanes back and for like wave clear. So we have 12 gems at this point, so obviously you want to turn in. I guess the general rule of thumb, like I like to turn in when I have like, I'm actually not opposed to turning in when I have 3 gems, but if you have at least 5, you should be looking to turn in. A lot of people say like if you have 10, you should be looking to turn in. So seeing the Johanna coming and all of this stuff on the way, I actually disengaged ahead of time. They send 3 people up top, and I just back up. That actually wasn't me that pinged that warning, but again, I wasn't overly concerned with it because I know how to disengage. I see my teammates getting into a team fight here, so I just get involved a little bit, and then I back up. Not sure if I noticed Jaina right there. I actually do run into the Johanna by mistake, but again, I know she doesn't have enough damage to take me out at that point, so it's not something I'm worried about. Again, running into situations with that low amount of health is not something that I would advise for low-level Sonya users to do. That's just something that I do because I'm experienced and I know how to back away and get away to safety. So it's definitely not something that I would put out there for other players. And again, I could see these engages coming ahead of time, so I just get my spacing and back away a little bit. There's no reason to fight this. No reason to fight this whatsoever. 2v3 and I'm half health already. And I'm just peeking there to make sure that nobody's trying to turn in. And once I'm sure they're gone, we just go right back to soaking XP and wave clear. At this point we had level 7, so I could actually heal myself whenever I want. I have 8 gems, so I do turn in at this point. 4.5 minute mark. So far so good. We're not like losing the game because I picked Sonya. Like, I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but again, we see the engage coming, so we just back away. There's no reason to ever engage in a situation like that, and I'm always okay with the enemy team sending that many bodies up to me because that means that they have less bodies in other lanes. And as you see, they sent 3 people to the top lane, and now they're starting to die everywhere else. And for what? They didn't get me. See, we make the little initiation right there, and we get our first kill. It's all about timing. You gotta have that mini-map awareness and have timing. And obviously, you have to have confidence that you can make plays. But I am never, ever, ever worried about enemy teams sending. It doesn't matter what hero. That's not just a Sonya thing. Like, it doesn't matter what hero I'm using. If you send multiple bodies to my lane, I am not in the least bit concerned about it because that just means my teammates have an advantage elsewhere. So, I'm gonna move back to the top lane because I actually looked at the minimap and I saw all these bodies up here. So we just want to kind of help our Kael'thas out, and I'm not opposed to bursting down tanks at all when I'm using Sonya. I know they say don't focus tanks, and that's not what I'm doing, but I like to take shots at tanks just to let them know that I can burst them down, just to keep that in their heads. Again, just a little more soaking. Always trying to stay ahead on XP. I mentioned it in a lot of my videos, but staying ahead on XP is like the most fundamental thing in the game, but it looms so large, it's ridiculous. So we do make our way down here. We were able to grab Uther, our teammate's gems that he did drop, so we have 19 gems at this point. Still waiting for this Sonya pick to backfire. It really hasn't so far yet. We haven't really made our presence felt at this point in the game, but we are making small plays to help the team. That and I mean, there's one underestimated element about having a Sonya is that whenever you do have her, you have a high ability to kite people, because she's not a tank. So whenever the enemy team see a Sonya user, they think to focus her first because she can be bursted down quite easily. So the flip side of that is that if you have escapability and know when to disengage, you can kite people quite easily. And you see, we actually just run right past the front line and go right for the Zasmodan with our Zeradol. Nice Void Prism by the Zeradol too. And again, we do the same thing. Just isolate them one by one and make plays to take them out. Smart plays. Again, kill count 7-2 right now. Still waiting for the Sonya pick to backfire. And we do have 24 gems at this moment too. And again, it's not something that makes me play a little more cautious, but I am mindful of it. I'm not gonna like suicide when I have that many gems on me. Again, like a lot of the plays that I make and the decisions that I make are heavily based off of my experience with the hero and my confidence. So we do actually make our way into this team fight up here. Initiate our Super Saiyan mode and just try to get a little more damage. This is a whole big situation right here, but there's no need for me to try to like overextend and get up front because I'm gonna be too late. So I just decided to go for the gems right there. 28 gems on me at the moment, and we do successfully turn these in. 9 kills to 2 still at this point. Still waiting for these picks to kind of backfire. If you're not understanding the underlying theme of this video, it's something that I've said on Twitter quite a few times that, in my personal opinion, player skill has a higher value than team compositions, and it's just something that I've seen time and time again from both ends, in wins and losses. So the minimap awareness, we noticed that Jaina was actually in a very, very bad position, so we make the move over there to help out Zeratul. And again, I'm not opposed to putting damage on tanks. And we just disengage a little bit, and then we re-engage. Again, the enemy team is far away. I see minions there, so I spin to get some health back. We put a little more damage on Johanna, isolate her a little bit, and Zeratul gets the kill. We had a very good Zeratul on this team who was very, very aware. And look at that, he put the Void Prison on Asmodan. Wanted to make a move on him, but didn't want to go against the turrets either. That's something that I like doing personally. I like knocking down the walls whenever we have cloak heroes so that they have more room to move around. So we make our way down to the middle lane because there's really not much more we can do in the top lane. 2-level advantage, so we're not really worried about getting out damaged by the enemy team at this point. You see, Johanna was able to stun me out of my whirlwind, but I was already done with my whirlwind at that point, so it really didn't hurt. And we're just steamrolling this team, basically. We just have a lot of forward momentum going on, a lot of teamwork going on, and the enemy team is really, really struggling to keep up. Again, still waiting for my Sonya pick to kind of backfire. Not sure if it's going to happen. And at this point, we start queuing up the retreat because there's really no reason to stay. Again, like knocking down the walls for my cloaked heroes. You want to give them as many options as possible. Really, that's something you want to be mindful of when you have cloaked teammates. So, I actually didn't know like if he meant bait the boss right here, so I kind of waited there. Not sure what he was going for, but nothing really actually happened. I think what he was trying to do was call bait the turn-in, which you see we are about to have some success with that. We get the Johanna to use her ultimate for escapability instead of for damage, which is always a plus. And it's always a plus when the enemy Johanna picks the wrong ultimate between like the two that you should be picking. Another nice Void Prison by our Zeratul really, really helped us secure that kill on Jaina. And we just make our way down. Nice Ancestral Hailing right there on Tyrael. Surefire kill was averted. And again, the minimap awareness. You always want to notice the one guy who's left behind. And that was a very, very good shot by our Falstad. And that's me, no doubt. That's me queuing up retreat because that kill, in my opinion, was not worth chasing. I'm fairly certain that I was making the move to turn in. Or actually, I think I'm trying to get the team to go to boss because we have 3 players down, as you can see. So that's always the ideal time to go for it. But our team was kind of slow in getting there. So if I remember correctly, somebody actually puts in the chat to kind of leave this alone after we already engaged. Which, I'm not going to lie, at that moment, I was kind of questioning it. But then, like, I noticed the enemy team coming. And we don't actually pay for backing off. So, we initiate on Jaina right there. Take her out fairly easily. Johanna uses her ultimate again to no avail. And thanks to the Kael'thas up here continuing to damage the boss did not regain all of its health, so we were able to get this. That was a very good play by Kale. I was trying to hit the spear through the wall, but I hit one of Asmodean's minions instead. I was actually kind of pissed about that. And again, the push was too strong. You see the kill count, it's 14-2. And you're going to see at some point, I don't remember when, but you're going to see at some point one of my teammates kind of questioning, like, why we're winning. Like, somehow this is working. I think it's exactly what he puts. I don't know. But we do catch Johanna again as the one left behind. Again, you always want to have that awareness. Looking at your mini-map can do so much for your game. Like, I really, really mean that. Like, just paying attention to your mini-map can do so much for your game overall, and like, just basically determining what plays you make versus what plays you don't make. And see, there you go. Somehow this is working, right there. And again, you always want to stay busy. You always want to be doing something. Doesn't matter what's going on in the game. You always want to be doing something. And we do notice the Jaina right here, a little bit out of position for a second, but we're not going to be in a rush to engage. Again, always want to be doing something. You could always be soaking XP. You could always be regaining health. Tyrael initiates on our Falstad, which ends up being a very, very bad move for him because he just jumped right in between our entire team. And we were able to take that damage, no problem. That's another thing I like to do is go for the health fountains first, just in case. You see the team push is just way too strong for them at this point. We're ahead 4 levels now against a composition that was supposed to be GG's 6 seconds into this game. But somehow it's not working. Like I said, player skill trumps team compositions, in my opinion, any day of the week. Any day of the week. And it wasn't just like me like doing things, making plays here and there, but I had a good team as well, you know, and we were very coordinated. Again, we had a very good Zeratul. Like, there was a very good dynamic between myself and the Zeratul, and right here I'm calling retreat because there's no reason to really stay. Again, you always want to know when to leave. Zeratul makes a play that actually gives us the opening to re-engage. That was another nice ancestral healing right there. And again, we back off. It helps. It really does help when you have a smart set of players beside you. They weren't smart enough to realize that we could still win the game with the composition we had, but they definitely were making smart plays out there as far as like the real game goes. And again, Jaina was just making very, very, very poor decisions the entire game. And we just back away. Because we have 25 gems, I start to ping for this camp right here because we have the numbers, we have the strength. This is another play you don't want to go for unless you're positive you can get it done. Updating the kill count, 18-4, forts 5-2. Just everything going our way at this point. 25 gems. No reason not to turn in. No reason whatsoever not to turn in. And then we make our way back over. Everything just really, really went good in this game. Like, I don't really know what else to say about this. I just thought it was funny that my teammates were so quick to call this a game and then seeing how it actually played out. And the fact that I didn't die at all the entire game. And they were worried I was supposed to be the detriment. And you see, it's not that I was hiding or anything like that. I was right in there with my teammates like the entire time. So, you know, player skill, man. Player skill goes a long way. Player skill, mini-map awareness, coordination, all those things. Again, right there, the Kael'thas probably should have disengaged. That was a good play by our Uther getting him out of there. See, we still have our 4-level advantage right now. We have level 20. The other team just got 16. There was really, really nothing the enemy team could really do with us at this point. At this point, I'm actually trying to stick to our Kael'thas like a hawk right now. because he's very, very low on health, and we're not trying to lose him. And the friendly team was very, very aware of when the boss was going to spawn. This time there won't be any contesting. It was just so many good plays made by our team, and it was really, really cool to have this kind of game with these guys, considering that they were giving me so much shit for my pick. And this wasn't really like the most like dominant performance that I've had as Sonya, but it was just really a conservative game. Like, I played a smart game. I'm still playing against 2 tanks the entire time and really, really having no trouble with it whatsoever. And again, that's just experience. That just comes with time. There's really no other way to put it. I mean, if you put in that much time with a hero, you should be at a point where you feel comfortable in all situations. Maybe I'm wrong for saying that, but that's just what I think. And I don't just have that with Sonya. I have that with all the heroes I feel like I'm really good with. Again, this is pretty much just going to end the game because our push is just too strong as it is. And now we have a boss wailing away at the core as well. Not really much Tyrael could do right there. All he can do is just make a little bit of noise, and that's about it. And you see the core is just withering down. And, I mean, you see right there, I finally decided to say something. It's bittersweet, man. This is what I still took the high road regardless, because I did acknowledge that I had a good team. I mean, we had 23 kills to their 5. With a composition that was supposed to dominate us. So, you know, this is why you don't call games within the first 10 seconds. You don't know what kind of teammates you have. You don't know what kind of opponents you have. You don't know how any of those variables work. And I always say that that's like the biggest thing about Heroes of the Storm that's so great about it, is that literally anything can happen in these games. Anything can happen. You don't know. So, you know, don't be so fast to give up on something just because of a composition. I mean, granted, there are some really, really, really bad compositions, but on paper, Sonya's not a tank per se, but at least on paper, she is a tank on paper. Like, not even with her stats or anything like that, but literally, as far as like what roles are being filled in the team, our composition still had a tank, we still had DPS players, and we had a healer. If you have that, regardless of who the players are, you have some semblance of a chance to win the game, and that's what you just saw. We didn't even have a specialist. We had no specialists on our team, and they did. And you saw it got them nowhere. They had 5 kills as a team. 5. And I was supposed to be the one that was supposed to be the detriment, and I didn't die at all the entire game. So don't be so fast to put people down just because they do something that looks a little bit questionable to you. Sometimes there are times where the questionable looking move is a questionable looking move. But there are other times where there's situations like mine where it may look questionable, but the person knows what they're doing. So don't be so fast to shoot that down and, you know, just compete. Like, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, is just compete. No matter what you see, no matter what anybody says, just compete. Play your game. Help your team and see what happens. Like, the worst that can happen is you lose. Like, you know, if you don't try, you lose within a matter of a minute. So basically, that's just it's just something that I wanted to share on the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the comments and the feedback in the videos. So, you know, I'm actually going to try and record a few videos today because I have been slacking. I uploaded like three to four videos over the last weekend, and I was kind of slacking during the week, and there was some videos I could have made, and I just didn't. So that was really on me, and I do have something else coming up, so that I'm actually getting kind of excited about, and it's something that I will share with if it actually pans out. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is Achilles LBT. As always, that's Achilles with a Z. Remember it.